Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. You are now watching Increase Your Cash Flow. My name is Dominique Veldier. I am joined today with my colleague, Terrence Bazil, and we will be taking you through this webinar. But before we get started, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the credit union. So the credit union, it's not for profit. It's basically exists for you, our members. And so any kind of time and money we save, we pass it right back on to you. We just operate just like a bank. We have credit cards, we have loans, we have checking and savings accounts. And also you can access us anywhere online. You can visit one of our branches or use any of our ATMs around the Boston area. And also with that money I told you that we save, we pass it right on to you in the form of financial education. And with financial education, we have Thrive Financial Wellness. It's our personal finance program. And we also do that. We provide you with a lot of different counseling, blogs, workshops, and such. And you can access that on huecu.org/thrive. And right on there, there are calculators. You can do a lot of different things and educational portals so that that can help you on your way to financial freedom. And we also have some good news. Last Wednesday, as a matter of fact, we opened a new branch. So if you are in the LMA area, stop by, visit any of our members. They can help, any of our staff rather, they can help you, our members. And it's right on 435 Brookline Avenue, right below the Joslin Diabetes Center. You can't miss it. It's on the West Campus of the Beth Israel. All right, so before we get started, so what we're going to talk about today is how you can reduce your expenses, defer your expenses, and increase your income. Now, how can we reduce and defer our expenses? Well, one of the ways you can do that is really understanding where is your money going and understanding what you're doing with it, where it's going. And it's a hard pill to swallow. I know for me, when I see it in writing, I go, oh gosh, I got to do some changes. And because I have to do those changes, I actually write it down. I take a few minutes each week to write it down, have a budget, list what my current expenses are, where's that money going, go through all of my credit cards, see where that money, what I'm doing, what am I spending my money on the most. Now, if you don't know where your money is going, you can't really track it and see what's going to happen. It becomes a little chaotic, you know what I mean? So then once you can figure that out, that's like the first step. And on our website, we have a budgeting worksheet. So that budgeting tool we have, it's basically helps you, gives you that information that you have, and you can work it out. Like say, for example, you have 3 financial goals for this year. If it's you want to buy a new car, you want to go on vacation, you want to buy a house, or you're saving for a particular thing for your child or anything like that, you can do that right. Put that down as your main 3 financial goals, and then you can work all those numbers together right on the website, right on that worksheet. Now, once you do that, you can use our budgeting tool on the site as well. It's our online banking. It offered you a budget widget, right? So you can figure out, okay, I need to start narrowing things down, put this in my checking, put this in my savings, tackle this particular credit card or this particular loan to get you started to your goal. So how can you defer or minimize your expenses? Well, one of the things you can do, federal student loan. So right now, if you have a federal student loan, as everything is being hashed out in court, the best thing to do is to kind of leave it alone. I wouldn't do anything to it right now because it's just prolonging it. I mean, the interest rate is 0%. So, and it's in deferment for all of us, myself included, and this is the best thing out there. Another thing you can do is skip a pay. So with skip a pay, I know for us, you can skip 2 payments per loan in a year, but you would have to talk to one of our loan people and figure out what would work for you. Also your utilities. For example, if you're a national grid customer, you can talk to them about, either paying ahead or finding out a good budget or solution that will work for you so that you don't have to feel burdened with a lot of the bill because it's getting colder. And so we'll be using a lot of our heat more than usual. Another way to do this is refinancing. So you have to really it's a toss up, find out what the loan is. I wouldn't refinance right now on a student loan because once you refinance a student loan, you lose the benefits of if it's a federal student loan. So you want to be very careful with that. And just, I would say, pause on that because the interest rates are high right now. Another thing you can do is strategize your spending. Like, for example, some credit cards, if you spend it, you get cash back, or if you spend it, you can get some points, or you get miles for airlines. So I don't know, I told you earlier, I love to travel. So one of the things I do, I use those credit cards instead of the ones that are not giving me any benefit. So really be specific and deliberate about how you use it. So when you're strategic with that, you can really save some money and make that credit card work for you. Also, research ways to reduce your spending, whether it's, using coupons, like if you go to a particular supermarket, they give you you can just sign up for those free little cards, you scan it. If you buy, they put like Stop and Shop, if you buy a Stop and Shop brand product, or Shaw's, or Star Market, or what's the other one?
Stop and Shop.
Market Basket.
Yep.
Like
Foods.
Whole Foods. If you use their particular, you buy their items and you scan those, you can save more money as opposed to if you don't have one. So those are good little ways to cut corners and save some money. Now, write that down. How do you save money? Terrence, how do you save money? Besides coupons, I'm the coupon queen.
Personally, I save money by looking for tips and tricks. I strategize my spending with my credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a credit card, a long-standing one, and I've gained up a lot of points over the years. I had since I was 18, and recently I just took a trip to Maine to a wedding, and I was able to actually rent the car using points. So I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. I did have to spend something for the purchase, but since points covered it, it really allowed me to have some extra cash flow when I'm up in Maine to purchase, buy some stuff, buy some souvenirs, and not have to worry about being a little bit more tight with my spending.
Can I share a secret with you?
By all means.
You're probably gonna hate me. So I had gone to Hawaii a couple of years ago, and it literally cost me $20.
What?
Yes, because I lived in Georgia at the time, so I used to fly a particular airline, Delta. So I would use my miles, and I'd make sure every time I would come home to Boston, I used my miles. So by the time I was ready to go, that ticket was $800. But no, Dominique saved some money because she used her miles, and I paid the taxes. It was a whopping $20. I was on the plane like, wait, someone's gonna come and yank me off this plane, because it's all about trying to save money. Because I was like $800 versus $20 using my miles. So those are good little tricks to do. So I sign up for every single miles. It's free on all these airlines, and I use them, and also in combination with the credit cards that give you miles. And I just put them on there, and voila. So those are other little tricks to save you guys some money as well.
If you guys have anything in the chat, please put it in the chat.
Yes,
This is phenomenal. How are you guys feeling about what's going on right now? I don't know about you, but I am mind blown that $20 to Hawaii. That's phenomenal.
And I did it again for San Diego. Again, I'm on the plane like, wait, is this a trick? Yeah, I'm always looking for different ways so I can save some money. And of course, plane tickets are very expensive now with the cost of fuel, and the economy is higher. So just really be very deliberate about how you're spending your money, which credit cards you're using to get miles, to get points. Even when you put gas in your car, groceries, those are also other ways you can save some money.
Perfect. I see in the chat that someone is saying that they're trying to save money by budgeting. Awesome. That's phenomenal.
And yeah, budgeting is a good way, because when you don't know what's going in, what's coming out, it's sort of like you're all over the place. It's like the puzzle. You're just throwing things up against the wall. It kind of really helps you stay on track, especially if you have a particular goal, like if you're trying to save for a house, a car, or My next vacation.
Your next vacation.
Yes, of course.
Vacation queen.
Vacation queen, yes. So one of the things you can do, you play mind tricks with yourself, right? You set up yourself a balance. One of the things I also do is I have alerts like on my phone. I have alerts on a particular credit card to make sure that I'm staying within the balance that they give me. Another thing you can do is use separate accounts. By separate accounts, I mean, like if you are saving, here I go again with my vacation.
Oh yeah.
You just put, okay, this savings account is going just for your vacation. If you're saving for the car, it could just be the car. If you're saving now that the holidays are coming up, you could just mark it as holidays. And that's going to be your money that you're going to spend just for holidays. So by the time January comes along, February comes along, you're not having buyer's remorse saying, oh my goodness, I overspent. You know that whatever is in that particular account is what you're going to spend, and you are going to stick to your particular budget. But of course, life happens. So from time to time, you want to check your budget, adjust it frequently. Say, for example, what you could have put down, into your savings in March. In October, things change, life happens, you're not able to put as much. So you may have to put less, and that's okay. Another thing you can do is use cash. That's something my mom believes in. She swears by it. And she also uses a lot of envelopes. She always earmarked everything in an envelope, and then she would put the cash in, and then she would be like, okay, that's the money, I'm going to the grocery store. And she would just really stick with that. And also, like I talked about earlier, really finding different discounts. If you are a student, use your student ID at these different stores and ask. I know like J. Crew, Madewell, they have different discounts just for students. If you're near campus, just use your student ID. That's another way you can get some discounts as well. I know here with Harvard, we have outings and innings. Yep. You can get those, great deals on shows and baseball games, basketball games, and such.
I have a great story about that. Over this past holiday season, coming up holiday season, we've been looking at using outings and innings to buy some tickets for events coming up. One of them being Taylor Swift. Hasn't come up just yet, but they are on the pre-sale, and I'm able to actually buy them at a discount using my Capital One card. But that's one of the things that you can look into. Maybe your bank, your student ID, outings and innings. There's always something coming up, and being able to use the purse that you have will always save you money.
Yes. And then, of course, like I said before, review your spending from time to time just to see where you are, if you're on the right track, if you're really walking towards your journey and towards your goal and what you're trying to save for. And I mentioned before about Thrive. Well, how we get Thrive is we partnered up with GreenPath. And GreenPath is our partner. They provide different counselors and experts, and of course, educational materials to support healthy habits. And it's free. Yes, I said it, free, F-R-E-E. We pay for it because we feel like it's really good to have these good options and have access to, great financial education. And you can access them, huecu.org/greenpath. And they also speak different languages, so they can help anyone. And they have a database of resources across the country. So depending on where you live, they can tell you certain places and things that can help save you some money. And we are all about trying to save money.
Especially in this economy right now, with inflation being as high as it is right now.
It's no joke.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take over a little bit, and I'm going to touch on refinancing existing debt. Such a fun topic, isn't it?
Oh, gosh.
So to open up, refinancing is taking your existing debt and possibly getting some new loan terms with it, whether that be a new interest rate, a new longer term, so that way you're spreading out the payments a bit longer, or even making the term shorter, so you can pay off the debt even faster.
Absolutely.
So just a touch. So the benefits of refinancing. Benefits are a lower interest rate. So let's say I applied for an auto loan and I was successful and I got it. And the dealer gave me an interest rate of 10%. not the best, not
Yeah.
the worst, but extremely high. And some months passed, I've made some payments now. My credit score has now increased a couple of points.
Mhm.
I'm now able to consider refinancing. I wouldn't say refinance right now because the rates are extremely high,
Right.
but if I refinance down to a 5% or 7%, I've now lowered my interest rate and I've saved some money over the life of the loan.
And you can put that money towards something else, another bill,
Yeah.
perhaps, or your savings.
Yes, savings, paying off debt. Or what I can do is I can also extend out my loan terms and of course leading to a lower monthly payment.
Yeah.
Some of the benefits. So as I touched on before, there are a few different ways to go about doing this. For the example that we have up, $10,000 loan with $200 payments for 60 months. Now, if I am trying to increase my cash flow and things are tight right now, this is one of the things I can do, refinance. And if I take my 7% down to 5% while keeping the same 60-month loan term, I've saved $11 total monthly payment. And my total interest paid has gone down from $18.58 to $13.23. So I've saved some money in interest in the long run and in the short term. I could also refinance to shorten out those terms, and I can shorten how long it takes me to pay it off.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think once they go, say, to buy a car, whatever that loan, the car dealership gives them, they have to stick with it. You don't necessarily have to stick with it. You can then, shop around and get a better deal in terms of the interest rate, to save yourself some money as well.
I'll be honest, I did not know that with my first car. I
Yeah.
stayed with
Me too. I didn't know. If I knew, I would have saved myself a lot of money.
Oh yeah, I stayed with Honda financing for years.
Can you
until
imagine?
someone...
They were gouging you probably.
Yes, they were. They were taking advantage of young 18-year-old me. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Now you know better, you do better.
I do. I bank with the credit union.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so there are some things to consider before refinancing. Like I mentioned earlier, that interest rate, that all-important number. Compare. Really look before you consider it. Compare to see which financial institutions will give you that better rate. Some places will have higher rates, some places will have lower, and look at the terms. If it's 60 months versus 72 versus 42 versus 24, it really is about taking a look at your unique financial situation and taking a look to see if it's possible for you and if it will save you money in the long term. Benefits. So there are some risks associated with this as well. For example, student loan, as you touched on earlier, some student loans come with perks built in if they're serviced by the federal government. And some of those perks include what happened with COVID, a pause on payments. Not all loans will have a pause on payments available. Skip a pay is a thing, but not to the same extent as what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, this is sort of one of those freak weird things in life and kind of beneficial to a lot of us.
Yes.
Myself included.
Oh yeah, same.
So pause along.
Oh, yes.
Pause away.
I would want to be careful and mention that when you do refinance out of some of the federal backed loans, you do lose the benefit of that pause.
Absolutely.
And credit scores as well. So I would really want to take a look to see, has my credit score increased since it's having a loan, or has it decreased? Have things become a bit more difficult for me? If my credit score is decreased and things are becoming harder, I'm not making my payments on time, I don't want to refinance.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to lose out on the favorable terms that I did have with the higher credit score. The reverse is true as well. If I've increased my credit score and I have more favorable terms available to me, by all means, I'm jumping in and refinancing.
And I think people should make it a habit every year to really check their credit score, just to see if there are inaccuracies, because there are a lot of things. I know I checked my credit score one year and I had paid this credit card like a good 10 years before, and it was still lingering on there as if I didn't pay it. So if I didn't check, it would just still be on there, and I would have to write letters and argue it and really show proof that I paid. Thank goodness I was one of those people who saved. It was my last check. That, when they used to send the checks back to you, the physical check, and I was able to prove that, hey, I paid this off. So it really should be a habit just to check to see what's happening with your credit score and what's, associated with your name.
And one of the best ways to check that credit report is annualcreditreport.com. This is the only place that is backed by the federal government, that is free, and that will allow you to check all three credit bureaus from
Yes.
Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Each one is different and their scoring model can be different.
Yes.
Very, very little differences. But this is the only place. We're going to go ahead and put that in the chat, annualcreditreport.com.
Yes.
And that's the best place to go about checking your credit report.
Do you have any questions in the chat? Let's see.
Yeah, let's check. While I'm putting that in the chat, anybody want to let us know any questions that we
Yes.
have?
Feel free to, send any question you have because it's a lot of information. And we'll, we're just trying to definitely make sure you have it. And it's going to be beneficial to you and you can check it. But again, I've made it a habit since that incident to just check. And I usually check at the end of the year to see, okay, what's going on? What happened? Who reported bad things about me? That's not true. Or good.
Yeah. Might find some good news on there too.
Yes.
So look, like you mentioned earlier, look for lower rates. Rates are changing every single day. And lenders are always trying to compete for your business.
Yes.
So be a savvy consumer and make them work for it.
Absolutely.
If lower rates are not something you're looking for and you're attempting to, for example, take a vacation, like you said, or go on holiday or do something where you need a quick influx of cash,
Yes.
a personal loan might be what's best for you.
Yes.
And a personal loan traditionally does have lower rates as opposed to, let's say, a credit card or something like that. And it will allow you to momentarily pay off, not pay off some debt, but give you some cash to kind of give you some breathing room, if you will.
I have a story to share
By all means.
about that. So I have a friend who had like literally 8 credit cards.
Yep.
Every month, he was paying all these credit cards, almost totaling up to $1,000. It was
Yep.
like basically being on a treadmill, going nowhere.
Oh man.
Like he's paying 200 here, 400 here, like just trying to like put a dent, but he wasn't making a dent.
Yep.
So what he did was he got a personal loan for about $20,000, paid off all those credit cards, and he kept them open by like, things that are like $5, $10, put gas in and pay them off at the end of the month. But his payment a month was less than $400.
Oh.
So all that time he's paying, trying to chip away, it wasn't making a dent. So
That's perfect.
yeah.
I think what you're talking about is our debt consolidation loans.
Someone has a question. Oh, okay.
Sure. What is the best way to get your partner on the same page with you when it comes to financial planning, especially if the loved ones go to them for the source of help? That's a great question.
Wow. I would have to say really, a lot of things play. How you were raised with money, how you spoke about money, tradition. That's another way. I say really start making it a habit to talk about money because I know a lot of immigrant families don't like to talk about money.
Okay.
All you know is they're saving.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to the kids, pass that on, those little tips and tricks, because that's very important because then, when they get out to the real world, it's like, well, what's a checking? What's a savings? How do I do that? How do I maneuver that? And not really just, charge, but then I don't think, okay, I have to pay for this thing this little card that I'm charging. I would definitely say just start having a conversation and really now talking to this person about the importance of really having a budget and having money, because especially if you grew up in different households where one family talked about money all the time, and then we have to sit down and do a budget versus no one talked about it. You just saw the bills being paid. You don't know how they're being paid. Like when my niece, she was little, she used to say, well, I want to go to the store. I said, I don't have any money. She goes, just go to that machine and put your card in and get the money out. She doesn't know, okay, you have to work to get that money to put that in there. So I would say just really start having a conversation about it and making it a habit.
I agree 100%. And I want to echo that because my family was also one of those families that didn't talk about money. And it wasn't until that I finally ventured out on my own. I started looking like, oh, wait, I have to do things. I have bills to pay.
Right.
And it really took a lot of hard conversations with myself and my partner and my family to say, because I know for a lot of families it might be taboo
Right.
to even talk about the concept of money. And kind of leaving it to sweeping it underneath the rug
Right.
doesn't do anyone any favors. I would suggest you speak to your partner in a soft way, be open, and be ready for what might come your way, because everyone has very different feelings about money. But having a more gentler approach may be the best way to talk about someone with money that may not be entirely comfortable.
Yeah, you know, another thing is knowing your money personality.
Correct.
While I'm talking, you can put that in our chat. So Nerd Wallet is, you can take that a quick quiz and just find out what your money personality is as well as your partner. I think that's important. Once you figure out what your money personality is, one of the things you can start doing is then you can navigate, okay, I feel this way about money. Am I a saver or am I a person who thinks, oh, okay, well, money avoidance, it's going to pay itself. Or am I someone who is a money worshiper, money avoidance, and what's the other one? I forgot. What are the other two?
Money vigilant.
Vigilant, yes. So you're saving so much that you're not having fun, you're not having a good time. You know what I mean? So that's a good little thing that you can start doing as well. But definitely start that conversation. Approach the person gently based on how they grew up with money and what, you know, their expectations are.
Okay. So a few other ways that we can possibly increase our cash flow is using some household benefits. By household benefits, I mean looking at some perks, for example, like we brought up earlier, our employer. We are very lucky and we're employed by HUECU, Harvard employees, and we are able to take advantage of outings and innings, using that student employee ID that we have, and reaching out to, maybe if your employer is a bit different, just reaching out to your HR person and asking, hey, what kind of benefits and perks do I have accessible to me?
And the credit union, finding out like what are some new things that we have as far as CDs. Do we have a CD rate specials going on? HELOC rate. HELOC, for those of you who don't know, is home equity line of credit. Any kind of, things that we're going specials that's happening, you guys can take advantage of as well as members of the credit union.
Credit cards, as you touched on before, some of those benefits and perks include Sky Miles, points, some cash back, especially if you are able to use one of those like monthly cashback specials where if you spend X amount at this store at Best Buy, you'll get 20% cash back. Not a real number, but something along those lines, especially with the coming holiday season. Big spending time. A lot of places are going to be pushing out to offer specials to get you to spend that hard-earned cash.
And then your alma mater, I know my alma mater, they offer like insurance, like car insurance, that you can get a deal, as opposed to if I went to that specific insurance, they won't give me that deal. But through my alma mater, I can get a deal for my car insurance.
Yes. Phone carriers as well.
Yes.
We are very lucky. We get a discount from, I believe it's Verizon and T-Mobile, a certain percentage off our monthly bill. We just show our ID and we're able to take advantage of the discounts.
Yes.
So, increasing income. Now, sometimes the only way to increase your cash flow is to increase your income. And there are a few different ways to go about doing that. One of them is side hustles. Side hustles would be monetizing a talent. I don't know if you want to play music, YouTube, stuff like that.
If you're a great singer, if you play the piano or any kind of musical instrument, you can do weddings, birthday parties.
Good photography.
Yeah. If you're good at braiding hair, if you're good at doing makeup, those kinds of things. And if you're a good writer and you can look at people's resumes and help them critique them for them, that's a side hustle that you can get that extra cash and you can put it into your savings for whatever it is that you're trying to save for, whether it's that car, the house, or for the holidays to pay for all of those gifts.
Yeah, speaking of the holidays, right now, a lot of places are big on hiring seasonal help.
Yes, yes, and they have longer hours, like till 9, whatever. So you can work your regular job and work in the evening as well as the weekends.
Oh yeah, 100%. And one more thing I wanted to bring up as a way of increasing cash flow is to possibly look for any certificates to increase income or degrees. HubSpot, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning.
Mhm.
Really reach out and talk to your manager or your direct report to see, hey, could I possibly take this course for free, or if it even paid to increase my income? We were a promotion if it's on the table.
And then you can put those on your resume to really beef it up, to really expand your resume and your knowledge as well.
Okay. And just to recap and talk about our blog, we've discussed different ways to increase your cash flow. We've talked about minimizing debt, having a conversation with that partner to let them know, hey, this is where I am, this is where you are, taking your money personality quiz as well to learn where you are in terms of your finances and how you deal with them.
Mhm.
And setting up different money mind tricks, such as setting up balances, spending alerts, using separate accounts. And if you can't, defer those expenses and see if you can even opt for a skip a pay.
Yes.
For anything else that we've talked about during this presentation or any other topics that you guys are interested in, please visit our blog at blog.huecu.org, and we will have multiple different posts to help everyone out.
Absolutely. And don't forget, we have a survey at the end. So it's huecu.org/survey. Just let us know how we did with the seminar, different ways we can improve, if you enjoyed it, that sort of thing. And we can definitely, we're always open for suggestions in other ways we can improve. But giving you a lot of different suggestions too, and tips and tricks. I always share my personal stories and people I know because it's a learning curve. And it's always good to keep learning and to keep looking to see what other tips are out there.
And as a full disclaimer, this presentation is purely educational. We are not giving out financial advice. Please consult a financial advisor for your specific situation.
Mhm.
And please keep in touch. We are HUECU at MyHUECU on all social media accounts if you want to follow us. We're located at 101 Auburn. We have a couple of different branches. We just opened a new one. Please come on in. Let us know you exist and we can have some fun. A lot of good stuff going on right now in the holiday season.
Yes, for the survey, it's huecu.org/survey.
Oops,
Just
yep.
a little typo there. That's okay.
Sorry,
But yeah, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we're on YouTube. So if you want to see any of our previous webinars, you can go on YouTube at MyHUECU and see any of our previous webinars, and look at them and take some notes because a lot of it is a lot of information. And you just want to make sure that you see it, you can really digest it in your own time as well. So yes, and yeah, stop by. Oh, there's another question.
Yeah, we do. By all means, if you have the time, we can.
Yes, absolutely.
So we have a question. It's does your financial counselors help with creating retirement plans for people who may not have one?
Our financial counselors can definitely give you some tips, but what I talked about earlier about GreenPath.
Yes,
GreenPath, I would start with GreenPath because they're really good at really helping you. Once you speak to them, they're really good at helping you figure out and navigate what your special needs are. And the counselors and experts, they're really here to help you. So I would go on GreenPath, and I would start there, and they can help guide you where you need to go.
Definitely. The GreenPath staff over there, super friendly.
Yes.
You can call them and you're able to, I believe if you make a relationship with one person, you're able to call back and speak to that same person. So that way they are kept abreast about your specific situation.
And it's a free service. Did I say free?
It's free.
I like free.
Free 99. Any other questions that you guys anyone would like to have? And while you have us, please put them in the chat. Let us know. We are here to help you and we love them.
Oh, let's take another look.
We
Someone
do. One more question. Do you have to have an account here to get Green Path services? No, you do not. You're able to go online, huecu.org, and you are able to take advantage of all the free services at Green Path.
Yeah.
And take advantage of everything Green Path has to offer.
They have different counselors and experts, and they provide educational materials for you as well.
We have one more question. Can DFCI employees have an account at Harvard Credit Union?
Yes.
Yes, you can. You are more than welcome. You are 100% eligible. You can come on in and you can open up a membership.
So yeah, so anyone who is affiliated with Harvard can become a member.
Not only that, once your membership is open, it extends to your family as well.
Yes, your spouse, your children, your parents, and once you're a member for life.
Yep. Any more questions?
Look, I think there's no more questions.
No more questions.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Please
We'll
take
see you
the
next
survey.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that survey. Let us know how we did, and visit us, follow us, give us a like. All right. Have a great afternoon, and try to stay warm because it's a tad bit chilly out
It
there.
is cold out there.
Take care, everyone.